When you're melody stuck in my brain, it's a typical sensation. All right, welcome, guys, to Money Talk. Right, welcome to another great Money Talk with Mr. Finance, and I'm really excited to come on today and really start teaching more about finance. And this week, we're going to do a big talk. We have a big topic to talk on this week, and really share with you guys some insights. So just to give you an idea what we're going to talk about this week, right? Because we're in the, if I remember correctly, I think we're in the third week of the month. Actually, we're not in the third week of the month. We're actually in the fourth week of the month. And that's understanding different solutions, right? We got to understand different solutions. Let me look at my handy dandy calendar because, sometimes we rush in the months. And yes, we're in the fourth week of the month. All right. So welcome to the almost end of the month. And being the almost end of the month, what does that mean for us? It means that we're in a position to really start learning more about finance and insurance. So what I'm going to do is that normally insurance would take a two-part because I will read it from the book. But what I want to do is just have a clear understanding, a clear conversation with you guys, right? About what it means to understand life insurance. And like I said, I just want to break it down and keep it simple, right? How can we keep this long thing from not being a long thing and just get straight to the point? Get straight to the meat and potatoes, right? What is the meat and potatoes of insurance, right? And the thing that you got to look at is, first thing first, why must we understand life insurance? And the thing that I want you guys to understand is this. Life insurance has nothing, right? It has nothing to do with dying. So someone will look at me and say, well, Keon, why there's a death benefit? It has to do something with dying. Technically, yes and no. And the reason why I say yes and no is because life insurance, if you were a wealthy person, you would not look at life insurance and just say, it's for when I die. Because you look at it strategically and say, well, depends on what life insurance you're talking about. So that's why you got to know what are the different kind of life insurance out there, right? So before we get into that, I want to just dive into this. I want you guys to understand this. Before we could talk about the different kind of life insurance out there, right? We got to talk about one thing first. Why you want to own it. Right? Why you want to own it, who needs it, and who you think don't need it. So let's talk about some of the stigmas around life insurance. Some of the stigmas that we hear are stigmas like, oh, I'm not the breadwinner, I don't need it. Right? I'm not the moneymaker in the family, I don't need life insurance. You could be completely, I'll say that you're 100% wrong. As a matter of fact, you need it more than the breadwinner. You need it more than the breadwinner. But what about those people that would say, well, Keon, I'm a single person. I don't have no kids. I don't have no responsibilities. I don't need life insurance. I would say you're completely wrong again. I'm pretty sure you have parents. I'm pretty sure you have, probably if you don't have siblings, but I'm pretty sure you have something that you care about. I think you may have some student loan debts. And I think you care about how someone's going to bury you after you. And if you don't, I'm sorry to tell you this, but that sounds like something very irresponsible, right? It talks about the X curve, right? You're being responsible or you're irresponsible. So then you have the other stigma, with the whole stay-at-home parents and why. Guys, did you know that a stay-at-home parent, right? When you look at salary.com for a stay-at-home parent, did you know if you was to pay a stay-at-home parent for all their services that they provide, it's a 6-figure income? See, all the stay-at-home parents are going to be like, someone owe me some money. I've been trying to collect my check for almost 9 years now, too. Shoot, I know y'all pay. Someone owe me some money. But no, for real though, being a stay-at-home parent, you're really, really important because they're the cook, the driver, the dry cleaner, the tutorer, the accountant, and they play multiple roles even though they stay at home. They clean, right? All these things. And you look at it and say, you have some of the most ungrateful people in the world that would not see that as important, right? And I think it's very, very important. Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to double check to see if this is an emergency or not. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. It was an emergency. All right, so don't worry. It's all taken care of. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about today when it comes to that stigma of stay-at-home parents, they play a lot of important role. And that role is very, very important for us to really and truly, appreciate that, and they need to get a lot of life insurance because who's going to play that role if, God forbid, something happens to them, right? And that's why life insurance is important for stay-at-home parents. But like I said, what about the single people, right? What about the single people? What about the people that are, not, they don't have kids. They don't have nobody to depend on their income. They don't have anybody that would need their money, right? Well, what about your parents? What would happen to your parents? What if you have some student loan debts? What if you have credit card debts? What if you just want to, give your sibling a better life or your niece, your nephew, or whoever you desire, right? I think the world that we live in, we just live in a world where people just only think about themselves, and nothing wrong with being selfish. I'm not here to judge anybody's mindset, but I'm just saying is, the whole stigma behind not feeling like we should leave something behind for somebody, or oh, I'm not going to be here, so it doesn't matter if I do it or not. It does matter. It does matter a lot, because if you could change somebody's life, you're one decision away from changing a generation. Think about that. You're one decision away from changing a whole generation. And think about what you could do for a whole generation, right? Just from making a different decision. So all of this makes sense. All of this is important for us to do. So that way we could be in a better position of winning, all right? And I think we should be focused on how can we win while we're alive or dead. So let's say that you do have some responsibilities. Let's say that you do have some debts. Let's say that your income matters to somebody. Let's say that you have a mortgage. Let's say that you want your kids to go off to a good college. These are all great reasons for you to own life insurance. These are all great reasons to own life insurance. And it's important that you do own life insurance in this manner, because if you don't own life insurance in this manner, then what's going to happen? What's going to happen? So let me break down another method that you must learn if you plan to own life insurance. You must learn what's called the dime method, right? You got to learn the dime method, because before we could talk to you about all the different kind of life insurance that's out there, all the many forms, all the many kinds, right? You got to know why. Because remember, once you know why, the how will come. I'll say that again. Once you know the why, the how will come. Because why you need to own life insurance is more important than how to own life insurance. Okay? Because if you don't know why, you may get sold on the wrong insurance. And I use the word sold, sell, bamboozled. I use these terminologies because there are salespeople out here. Okay? Nothing wrong. I don't want to knock them. That's their hustle. But I don't want you to be the hustle. Okay? I don't want you to be the not receiving end of the stick. Like, everybody could win. I believe that everybody could win in this industry if they just do it with integrity. Right? It doesn't have to just naturally be around, oh, I got to make $1, so I'm going to sell you something that you probably don't need just so I can make a living. And we live in an industry where it is this way. And many of us were sold things that we never need. And we were convinced that this was something for us. So that's why you got to know why you need to own life insurance versus the how to own. How is easy, but the why is more important. So why must you own life insurance? Let's talk about the why. Now, let's talk about the average person. When I talk about the average person, I'm talking about stigmas now, right? Right? What is the stigma of this whole life insurance thing? Well, let's first talk about, do you have any debts? All right? Do you have any debt? What are the debts you have? Do you have like credit card debts? Do you have student loan debts? Do you have a mortgage? Not even mortgage yet, because there's a different part. But as far as, you know, personal loans, you know, your car note, what are the debts you have? Right? You got to calculate all of those debts, right? Add it all up. And then you got to think about, well, your income. Who depends on your income every month? Does your spouse, you know, what people will say, well, Kim, what if I don't have any children? Do I still need to have my income replacement? Well, do you have a spouse? My question to you is, do you want your spouse to miss your income? Right? Do you want your spouse to miss your income? So when you look at all of this, you really got to think to yourself and say, what really matters? Why? So your income, whatever you get on an annual basis, take home money, times that by 10, right? 10 years of your income to be replaced. Like people always say, well, Keon, what about my children? Make sure that 10 times your income is in place to take care of the kids, right? And the spouse. But what if it's your spouse? Well, give that person 10 years to grieve, right? Give that person 10 years to grieve. They're going to miss you if they love you, right? I always say, man, this topic right here get touchy-feely when it comes to spouses, because they're like, I'm not giving them 10 times my income when I pass away for them to go be with the next woman. Or the next, you know, the guy be like, I'm not giving them to be with the next man. No way. Not doing it. So when you look at all of that, I don't know, maybe that will, you know, expose some things in y'all commitment to each other. Me, I personally want to do that. I would definitely do that. You know, I tell Chantal that she's gonna be a very wealthy woman. So if I die, her next husband gonna look at me and thank me every day. He don't know me. He gonna be like, Keon, you are the man. Love that guy. Yeah. Right? Because that's what it's supposed to be. I didn't do it thinking about the next guy. I do it thinking about my better half. Right? Because what if she don't get another better half ever again? What if she can't ever replace my greatness? Right? At least I know she's comfort with my money. Right? They say money don't buy happiness. That's a lie. That's a lie. Okay? Don't let nobody lie to you. Money does buy happiness. It just can't give you everything that you desire. It won't bring me back. Right? But at least it will give her some easier way to deal with it. I'd rather her cry in a Rolls Royce than to cry in a Toyota. I'd rather her cry in a big mansion than for her to cry in a little tiny house. You know, I'm just trying to show you a different perspective. Right? Don't do it thinking about the next person. Do it thinking about the person that you love. Right? These are reasons. How about balancing your mortgage? Right? The balance on your mortgage. You own life insurance to make sure that if something happens to you, the balance of that mortgage is paid off. Right? It's paid off. Don't matter. You know, I've never seen wealthy people pack up their wife after they pass away and say, you know, kids, we gotta go. No, the wife get a brand new extension of the house, and she get a brand new Cadillac. She upgrade. Right after he passed away, because the money just kept rolling in. So that's what it's supposed to be like. Right? What about educational planning for the children? You got to make sure that you have 4 years of tuition for each child in coverage, right? So if tuition is about $25,000 a year on an average, times that by 4, that's $100,000 per child. What if you have 5 like me? That's just $500,000 alone in college planning alone for me right there. Can you imagine? Right? What if you just got 1, 2, 3? So all of these things are important, guys. Because that's what the dime method is for. You think about how much debt you have, your income, you know, balancing your mortgage, educational planning for the children. All these things are important. So a single person will say, well, I don't have any kids yet. Why should I plan for them? Unless you plan to never have kids, then don't ever put that in place. Someone said, well, Keon, all my kids are grown already. Why would I need to put them on? Well, do you have grandkids? You know, do you have grandkids? Do you want to make sure that if God forbid something happened to you, hey, Nana took care of that, right? We just can't, we can't just keep thinking so selfishly. You know, I think when we think about life insurance, we can't think about just selfishly. So yes, I know you're probably saying, well, Keon, this all sounds like it's about when I die. You're right. It does sound like all about you die. But that's just the first spectrum of it. What else life insurance gives you? Gives you a lot of living benefits. Dying is just to take care of. All right, here's what life insurance is. All right. Picture yourself like a bottle of water. Okay. I want you to get this visual. Picture you're holding a bottle of water. Inside that bottle of water, it feels whole. It's heavy. It has density to it. Now, when you throw that water out of the bottle of water, then it gets light. It's empty. It don't really have any density to it anymore. It's pretty much easily could go with the wind, right? So how does life insurance could be explained with a bottle of water? Life insurance is, let's say that you are the bottle of water, and the water is the security that you bring to your family, where you're still able to pay down your debt while you're alive. You're still able to provide your income. You're still able to pay the mortgage. You're still able to plan for your children's education, right? Cool. Now, what life insurance is the bottle now. It's the bottle that covers all of that, right? It's the bottle. It's to protect that water from going anywhere, right? You could turn this bottle of water upside down, it won't fall out. You could turn it sideways on the belly, it won't fall out. You can shake it around. It doesn't go anywhere. That's life insurance. Life insurance is the bottle that surrounds the water, because it assures you that the water won't go anywhere unless you open the cap and pour it out. You know what that's called? That's called canceling your life insurance. The minute you pour that out and make that water and bottle becomes dense, empty, then it doesn't become any use to you anymore. See, guys, you can't buy life insurance and not think about the future. Life insurance has been the best way to transfer wealth tax-free in America for years. Years they've been transferring tax-free wealth through life insurance for years. We've been hearing that people insuring their legs. Beyonce insuring her legs. Serena Williams insure her arms from 30, 70, 100 millions of dollars. Why? It's because if something happened to their legs and their arms, there's going to be a payout. How incredible is that? So why is there a living benefits? What makes it so important to learn a little bit more about some of those living benefits? I think that's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. I'm going to break down what are some of those living benefits. What is so important about life insurance, right? Why is it such an important entity? Why? Why is it important in our financial portfolio to develop? Because many of you were sold the idea that whole life, term life is the only insurance out there. And it's not. It's not. There's a whole life, there's term life, there's universal life, there's index universal life, there's variable universal life, there's final expense insurance, there's accidental insurance, there's terminal illness, there's chronic, critical, accidental. There's all kinds of insurance out there. That's why it's important for you to know the why first before you know how it works. Because how it works is that you may be sold on the wrong kind of insurance. You may be persuaded to get the wrong kind of insurance. And you know what that would do for you guys? It will put you in a situation where 30 years from now, you're going to look up and say, how come no one never did this for me? And the problem is this too, guys, that you own life insurance. And many of you say, well, I had this insurance already. I'm good. Well, it's just like you holding up a Nokia phone and trying to compare it to my iPhone and say, well, I got a cell phone already. I'm good. Okay, that's cool. You can make phone calls. You can probably text. It's still not an iPhone. Not that it does matter. But what I'm saying is that if you want to keep up with time, where you can browse the internet, you could go on YouTube, you could go watch a live stream, you could do a video call, you could get instant communication with somebody, face to face, through a Zoom, off a cell phone, off a smartphone. It doesn't matter that your phone could call and text. It's a matter of, can it do more with the same ability to call and text? That's why it's important for you to stop being so loyal to companies and start being loyal to your why. What is your why? Be loyal to your why. That's why I say once you know your why, the how will come. It's like many people walking around with whole life and term life, and they think they're good, when no one didn't tell them that, hey, I could have got an upgrade. I could have upgraded this thing. I could have got an upgrade. I could have put myself in a better position. But no one never taught you that. See, I'm never loyal to anything. I'm loyal to my why. And once you know the why, the how will come. All right, so tomorrow, what we're going to talk about tomorrow, right? Let's make a list of things that we're going to talk about tomorrow. And I want you to write this down. Tomorrow, come prepared. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about living benefits, right? What are the living benefits of life insurance, right? Because it's important for you to know the living benefits. And when we talk about living benefits of life insurance, we're just not talking about the pros and cons of things that you get. within life insurance. We're going to talk about the tax living benefits as well. What are some of the tax living benefits of life insurance, of owning life insurance? Right? There's a lot of tax advantages that you get. And many people never knew it. Because I personally think if everybody knew that life insurance gives them a lot of these living benefits, I would see where people would never choose a 401k over owning life insurance. I can't see them saying, I'm going to settle for, no. Not with that type of knowledge, you wouldn't. You'd never look at money the same again if you truly understand this. All right? So tomorrow, we're going to have that money talk. And we're going to break down living benefits of their life insurance, right? And one of the things I want to bring back, I know for a while, I haven't talked about it, right? And I want you guys to remember, you can go on our YouTube, right? Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, right? Remember, you can always check out Money Talk with Mr. Finance, right? Check it out, Money Talk with Mr. Finance. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, subscribe, support, comment, like, share, right? And share your feedbacks. You know, what was your takeaway? And if you want to go back and listen to this, I upload every new episode every 6 p.m. They'll be up by 6 p.m. Sometimes even earlier. Right? So if you subscribe and you hit that notification bell, guess what? You get a instant notification when the new episodes are up. All right. So make sure you turn on notifications so that way you can know when the next video is up. All right. So thank you. Thank you for tuning in.